All right, now maybe you guys can hear me now that I've turned my headset on. Uh, so you guys just I guess I'll have to redo my entire kind of recap of last week and where we're at this week since you couldn't hear what I was saying. All right, now let's turn this puppy back down. Don't need to hear myself talk. I can talk without hearing. You know what I mean. Anyways, so I believe, as I was attempting to say before, but couldn't be heard, I believe we have a couple rescue missions that we can take care of. We have our rendezvous in orbit of Kerbin that we have to do, and if we can complete one of those rescue missions, that will complete the rendezvous mission by default because we have to rendezvous with those craft and Kerbols in order to rescue them, right? So we have to get to the same point in space that they are, and that is a rendezvous by definition. And that will complete our world's first milestone, which will unlock the next step, which I believe, don't quote me because I can't recall for sure, is landing on the moon. And there'll be a few other missions that'll coincide with that, like planting a flag on the moon, collecting a moonstone, performing a science experiment on the moon, things along those lines. But the other thing I was saying is I started got bored one night and started a science playthrough. And what science is basically your funds are unlimited, like you have all the money that you need. But you still have to go through the progression of science in order to kind of progress through the game. Mixed feelings on it. It might have been more fun to just go into sandbox mode and see what I could do with all the parts unlocked and where I could get to and just, mess around with the game. But science, it's kind of a mixed bag. It's probably not for everybody. But we're not doing that today. We're going to go back to where we were last week, which, should be the 2 rescue missions and so on and so forth. So let's take a look. Active missions. We have 3 active contracts right now. 2 rescue missions and 1 explore Kerbin. So the rescue missions are pretty self-explanatory. We're rescuing Inuki and Zegal or Zelgul from the orbit of Kerbin. So they're floating up in space, orbiting the planet somewhere, and need somebody to come rescue them because they ran out of fuel or their ship broke or whatever. So in order to do that, we have to actually rendezvous with them in space, which will, like I said, complete this one by default. Need to test our rendezvous capabilities around Kerbin. So we do that, we get a cool 51 grand, 53 grand, sorry. I had a really salty dinner. I'm thirsty as crazy. But if we can conduct one of these rescues and execute one of these rescues, then we'll get the rendezvous by default. Rendezvous 2 vessels in orbit of Kerbin. So between those 3 missions, we would get a fair bit of money. You got basically 80,000 there, basically 65,000 there, and basically 50,000 there. So 60, 50, 80, that's what, 140, 190, $190,000 or Kerbal bucks or whatever you want to call them, credits, however you want to call it, to spend on stuff. But what we really need right now is the science. We don't have enough points to unlock any more science, but we did unlock, or did we? I don't think we did, actually. We got landing, which got us the landing landing struts, and heat shields for various sizes. It's kind of it for that I I'll use the Mark 16 XL occasionally, but it's not that high of a priority for me. We got the electrics, which gave us the photovoltaic panels that we can put down on surfaces that will kind of help charge or power the science experiments that you can put down. But we haven't unlocked those science experiments yet, I don't think. Yeah, there's one. There's the ED monitor, EVA experiments, and then further down that path we've got a weather analyzer. Of course, you have to have an atmosphere to analyze in order to analyze weather, but you can put that on a surface that has an atmosphere, and it will send science back to the planet or back to Kerbal. What else? The passive seismometer, and it's a communication antenna that's deployable on the ground. But none of that matters. What we really need right now, really, especially for what we're about to be trying, is RCS. And we don't really have RCS capability. Now, the ant liquid fuel here. This might work as an RCS solution until we can get RCS. But again, we don't have the points to do that. What do we have available to us that'll work for RCS? Absolutely nothing. So we're going to have to rely on game mechanics and some overpowered gyroscopes, I guess you might call them. The things the reaction wheels, I think is the actual term for it, that basically give you the ability to manipulate the orientation of the craft in, especially in 0G, where it's kind of important especially when you're trying to dock two vessels be able to turn around pretty quickly so you can adjust your speed when you don't have RCS capabilities. RCS is what kind of the space shuttles and the old rockets and the new rockets now, the little tiny just compressed gas thrusters really that are in the nose and tail, and sometimes around the midsection of the vehicle, that enable it to rotate around its center of mass right there as it's traveling along its trajectory, and just thereby adjust its orientation without really affecting the orbit much. Alright, so what do we need for this? We're going to try to get at least one Kerbal from orbit. In order to do that, we've got to have either a two-seater, which that one's a two-seater. But that's not very aerodynamic, is it? And it's probably not the end of the world. We could launch that up into space and with a Kerbal piloting it and capture one of the other Kerbals up there and bring them back home with us, or we could go with one of these bad boys, the Probodobodine Octo, which is a command core. It basically gives you piloting capabilities without having a pilot on board. So I'm thinking what we'll do is that centered around or in one of these to keep it aerodynamic. We'll open that up so we can have access to that, because if we move this, it just moves that and leaves the probe core. We don't want to do that because it could end up moving the whole rocket by doing that and leaving the probe core right there. We don't want to do that. The probe core's got to be the center of this thing. But only until we get up there and get another Kerbal in here, right? So on top of this, we're going to put a heat shield, because I neglected to look at how far up our Kerbals are. Wait, not a heat shield. We want to separate that first. So a TD12 decoupler, and then a heat shield, and then our command pod. But that command pod's going to be empty until we get up there and rescue our Kerbal. Now, we don't have a docking port, so this Kerbal's going to have to EVA from their ship to our ship. But what that does is that gives us, the capability of putting, not the XL, just the regular one, please, putting a just standard parachute on top of this thing, and that will limit our mass as much as we can for that section, so that while we're up there, hopefully what little rocket that we'll have as we're maneuvering in space will be pretty fuel efficient, right? Because the amount of fuel you burn is directly relative to the mass of the vehicle that it's pushing, even in zero gravity. So we've got a heat shield, we've got a parachute. That should ensure our safety. As long as we're not coming in from a really high elliptical orbit, we should be perfectly fine re-entering the atmosphere and aerobraking that away. So below this, I said something about a reaction wheel, command and control. So we've only got a small one, but a small one is better than no one at all. But problem with reaction wheels is they're kind of power hungry, so we want to also grab some batteries since I'm under electrical. Do we want to put one of these on there? Can we put one of these on there? Not without putting another cargo pod. Or can we? I mean, this snaps up there. I'll let it. I'm not ashamed to take care of or take advantage of game bugs. So we now have a battery on there. We probably want some solar panels, and we're gonna mirror these so that they're symmetrical, not creating excess weight or drag on one side of the craft or the other. Okay, and then I'm gonna go ahead and take this and move it up a little bit. Right, and below that we need a fuel tank. We might go with that one and that one, but that is really pushing our weight for what we've got with this little inline reaction wheel up here. But we don't have a whole lot of choice. We don't have much in the way of parts available to us yet. So this is going to be our final fuel stage, which is technically should be up in orbit. So with that said, we are going to put an orbital engine on it. And the Terrier here is our most fuel efficient engine that we have. Now it doesn't generate a lot of thrust, a whole whopping 60 kilonewtons in vacuum, which is the only place we're going to be using this puppy. Whereas by comparison, the swivel engine is my favorite engine in the entire game. I mean, this one's pretty good too. Let's be honest. But the swivel engine is one of my favorites to use in the game, and in a vacuum, it creates a thrust of 215 kilonewtons versus the 60 that we get out of the Terrier. But it also uses a lot more fuel. So if we look over here, nope, stay. ISP, 250 at sea level, 320 in a vacuum, whereas this one is 85 at sea level, 345 in a vacuum. So in a vacuum, way more fuel efficient than this is, and even at sea level, way more fuel efficient. But the thrust is so much lower that the only place that it makes sense to use it is where you don't have the resistance of the air dragging on you. So below that, we want to get another decoupler. Yeah, we'll leave that open for a minute longer. And we want bigger fuel tanks. Well, we don't have bigger fuel tanks. We don't even have any. Well, no, we got this one XL tank right here, which is, I mean, it's. Oh, excuse me. And it holds 99 liters of fuel, weighs half a ton. When this one holds 180 liters of fuel and weighs just shy of a ton. So they're comparably relative, based on their size and volume. For our purposes, this tank is still going to be our best bet. This one here, it would take a whole bunch of them to amount to the fuel that we would need to get this rocket to orbit, and this is our biggest one in this size. So I'm debating on whether to keep this second stage relatively short, say there, throw a swivel on that, right? That'll get us, this stage here should have us through the thickest part of the atmosphere. Like, we should be beyond the heavy atmosphere by the time this stage ignites, because this is our sustainer stage. It's intended to get us to orbit, or at least to space, and mostly orbital, and then we use this stage up here to actually go orbital and make any other additional maneuvers that we need beyond that. But ideally, we don't want to be on this stage up here until we are basically orbital, a stable orbit, and that'll maximize the amount of fuel that we get from this stage. So hopefully we can engineer something here that that'll get us to orbit before we have to kick this stage off. But kick this stage off we will. Rest assured on that. Now, with that said, we can throw one more decoupler on there, and that will separate out this stage. And this stage, we're going to go with even more fuel. Right? So now we've got a big tall stack. Well, that big tall stack is going to need some way to get off of the ground, for one. And for that, I'm torn between using these or using that in combination with the Thumper fuel solid rockers, SRBs. That's all, folks. For those of you who are old enough to remember and realize what that is and where that's from. So let's see what we got thrust wise and burn time for this. So our overall ISP with just those, I'm going to thrust to weight of 1.55 and 75 seconds of burn time with just those 4 engines right there. Now 75 seconds, it doesn't sound like a lot, and it's really not. A specific impulse of 275 seconds. So basically that means that our 1.55 thrust to weight can burn the amount of fuel in this stage for 75 seconds. Anyways, 75 seconds might be enough to get us, up to about 50 kilometers, maybe. And if we can get to 50 kilometers with that, then getting the other 20 kilometers out of this stage wouldn't be that bad. But how much ISP does that stage have? It's only got 58 seconds of burn with about the same thrust to weight. So that's not ideal. We may struggle with that. So one more thing that we could do. No, I mean, yeah, we'll need that. But we need these first, right? Wish I had the bigger ones. But maybe we can do this. Right? And slap 4 of them bad boys on there. We might cook our other thrusters there a bit, but that's okay. So that gives us 42 seconds at 100 or 1.72 thrust to weight. So that's pushing us faster and harder, but not for as long. But there's plenty of thrust out of those 4 SRBs to get us off the ground and moving at a pretty good clip before we ever have to ignite those 4 main thrusters or 4 main engines there, right? So these will get us moving, get us up to 10, 15 kilometers maybe, maybe not even that. But we'll be cooking by the time that these things burn out. And then we can kick that on and kick up that next 75 seconds, right? And that could get us up to space where this stage would be able to get us orbital and this stage to make our rescue. So, yeah. Now, we've got that, right? We need to make this bit aerodynamic. So let's slap some nose cones on these bad boys. And then we need to make this bit aerodynamic. So we'll slap some... Actually, which one of these? Active control. So this one. This one actually gives us control surface that we can use to direct the back end of this craft. Just make sure they're not clipping anything anywhere. They're not. We're not clipping the engines. Alright, and we want to auto strut these bad boys at the very least. And we'll probably auto strut you and you and you. Okay, now we can close this. Now I need to check our staging. And I've gotten into a bad habit of not checking my staging before launch lately, so we're gonna make a big deal out of this. So, first things first, we know we have enough thrust out of the SRBs to get us moving and moving off the ground and screaming through the sky pretty quickly. 911 meters per second. Now that doesn't mean we'll be moving at 911 meters per second when these things burn out, but that's the amount of energy that if we were in a vacuum, we would have increased our speed by 911 meters per second by using these. Obviously we're not in a vacuum. So once those burn out, we want to get rid of that weight. That's dead weight that we don't need to be carrying. So in order to do that, we're going to fire off these lateral decouplers here, radial decouplers, I believe they're called. And at the same time, we want to go ahead and fire these bad boys. These thud engines, we want them pushing us as soon as these let go, because we need that thrust. We need to keep moving. Need to keep pushing forward, right? And then once those burn out, we want to cut that chunk loose. So get rid of all of this weight down here. That's the 6 fuel tanks plus the engines down here at the bottom, the wings. These puppies will already be gone. But it's, again, we want to fire that engine at the same time as we decouple. So the 4 SRBs. When those burn out, we get rid of them and fire the thuds. And then when the thuds burn out, we can get rid of all of that extra weight back there with that decoupler and fire that swivel engine, right? And then after that, hopefully, by the time this section burns out, we'll be in a nice stable orbit and can get rid of that stuff and fire at last our Terrier engine, which hopefully will get us up there, get us rendezvoused with our buddy up there that we're going to go rescue, and then once we've got him, then we can use what's left of our fuel to adjust our orbit as needed to maybe get a little bit closer to the atmosphere. But we've got a heat shield, we've got a parachute. We should be perfectly fine re-entering at whatever trajectory or whatever speed. Our heat shield is supposed to help kind of bleed off the energy that we're creating in the atmosphere as we're entering. And then we got the parachute, to give us our nice gentle descent. And those two will fire at the same time, the decoupler to get our pod loose, and the parachutes. The parachutes won't actually deploy in space. We know that, but we can arm them and set them to deploy when we reach the certain or specific settings of that parachute, which is a minimum pressure of 0.04 atmospheres, a minimum altitude of 1,000 meters, and the width of the spread angle. So, of course, different atmospheres, different densities. Your spread angle would help capture some of that thinner atmosphere. You had to set it to a higher altitude so you have more time to slow down, etc., etc. But anyways, we're gonna save and continue, and we're gonna go look at where our wayward Kerbals are in orbit up here. So those are pretty high orbits, aren't they? Well, Zeagle's capsule. Oh, okay. You're actually not that bad. So you're 3 million meters. Your Apo is about 4.5. Your Peri's at just under 3. So you got a little bit of an elliptical orbit, and you are actually pretty high up. That's not the end of the world, but it may be problematic for what we've built. The other one, what is your deal? Well, you got a purple icon around you. Anyways, the other one, Inuki is where? You've got a very low orbit, so we might actually go for Inuki. An Apo of just under 90, a Peri of just above 80. That's a low, like really low orbit for us, but not undoable. And at the same time, we've got Zeagle or Zelgle out here that I'm not sure. I don't know if we've got the capability of reaching that high yet. Orbiting and getting a deorbit to get us back to where we belong. And I'm not good enough with orbital mechanics to push our Apo up here to the moon and slingshot off of the moon to get a lower periapsis down here. I don't know how to do that. So at any rate, let's figure out where. What is that? Untitled debris. Yeah, I think you can go away. Spacecraft debris. Can't trash it? Why not? What? Comsat 2 debris? Comsat 1 debris? Well, you're a weird orbit. We got quite the Kerbal network going here. I think all these little satellites connecting us and connecting everything. All right, so if we're gonna launch for Inuki. Kerbal Space Center's here. And Inuki's over there. So we want to get up there kind of about the same time as Inuki. So maybe we launch when Inuki's kind of over here. We'll speed up time a little bit. We'll watch Inuki's craft. And about the time that Inuki is hitting the sunrise, or sunset, about the time we want to launch in order to get there, because you gotta keep in mind they're moving at 20, almost 2,300 meters per second, 2.5 kilometers per second up here. We're moving at less than 2.5 kilometers per second as the planet turns. We do get that energy. We are getting that rotational energy that pushes us along that eastward trajectory, which is why we launch eastward, is because we're already moving that way. But we're moving a lot faster if we're higher up, right? So we know that Inuki is covered 2/3 of the planet in the time that it's taken us to cover 10 degrees. So that tells you right now that craft is moving a whole lot faster than we are. So we want to launch before it gets to where we are, so that worst case scenario, we're in front of it. We don't want to be behind it trying to chase it down. That sucks. I think we tried that last week and it didn't work. Oh wait, that's landed. Recover. That's landed. Recover. We'll get stuff back for that, guys. That's why we couldn't destroy it. Alright. Sweet. Alright, so we're kind of at that point where we want to be launching here. So we're going to go ahead and jump in and get this puppy out on the launch pad. Do I have stabilizers? I do have stabilizers. Yay. I really don't want this thing to fall over. Alright, so yeah, I'm going to launch, and that added those stabilizers to the same stage as the first. So let's go. Oh, no. You got a Kerbal in there, don't you? We don't want a Kerbal in there. Kerbal has to stay home. No Kerbal? Really? No Kerbal. Good. Alright, so we want to turn SAS on. Gotta have our stability assist. Gonna go ahead and max out our thrust and then see where, well, we might go ahead and drop it down a little bit because it's not going to affect this first stage at any rate. These are SRBs. They have one fire rate, and they're burn and go. You can't shut them off. Once you light them, they go until they're burnt out. So we're going to launch. We're going to tip eastward, probably about 1.5 kilometers up, and hopefully get us a nice stable orbit before we get to our maneuvering portion of this craft. Ready, set, and launching in 3, 2, 1. Up we go. So about the time we get to 1.5 kilometers, we should be moving at almost 300 meters per second. Okay, maybe 200 meters per second. Start tipping off to the east just ever so slightly. Once we get that gravity turn kind of starting to go, it kind of does the rest of it on its own. Alright, so we're getting some heavy aerodynamic forces pushing against us here, but we're almost out of the SRBs. We're looking at almost 10 kilometers now. Now, capping at 20. Alright, so slow this down just a little bit. We don't want to be pushing that hard. It's not very efficient for the fuel. So we want to make sure that we're increasing our speed, but once we get outside of the heavy atmosphere, we can focus more on pushing that speed level up. So we do need to be moving. Remember, they're moving at almost 2,300 meters per second up there. All right, and we're going to push for an APO of about 80 kilometers here. Let's see how close I can get. Try to stay inside of our prograde marker as well. I want to stay as tight to that 90-degree mark there as I possibly can, because that'll put us on an equatorial orbit, and that's right where we want to be to capture a Nuki. Alright, we're doing about half a Nuki's speed. Where are we on the map? And relative to them, we are just in front of them, but they're still moving a good deal faster than we are. Right? Oh, we're way too high, way too high, way too high. Dang it. Alright, it's alright. It's all good. Not ideal, but not the end of the world either. We're almost to space. We're in space now. I'm going to do a light down burn here to maybe bring our APO back down a bit. And kind of help start bringing our peri up a little bit. So we know that the APO of the other one is just under 90,000, so we might stop about 85, and that'll give us a little bit of wiggle room once we get up there to, we're already past 85, but we're below the 89 now. I guess we should go ahead and start a massive circularization burn. Where are we relative to Nuki? Still a little bit in front. We're still moving a little bit slower than they are, but that's okay. We're about to circularize. And bam, we're circular. And that's actually got us pretty darn close to the actual orbit of this other craft. Alright, so we're a little bit ahead of them. What's our separation right now? Set you as target. Right now you are 89 kilometers away. That's a fair bit. We're also on a slightly different plane than they are. So what we would want to do, I think, is very first we get over here to the ascending node, and we want to first off mark it. Alright, highlight it, make sure that it stays where it's at. And we're going to add a maneuver there. And in that maneuver, we are going to burn anti-normal down, and that should help get our orbits to line up. Yeah, see the ascending node marker there, it's getting closer and closer to 0 degrees. And that's just how close are we to being on the same orbital plane as them. So that puts us directly on the same orbital plane. It's got our separation here at 20. I can't read it. 200 kilometers, right? That's going to be the next pass around after we make that adjustment. We're going to go ahead and turn towards our target marker here, so that when we hit that point, we're already pointing in the direction that we need to be burning. And it's only 40 meters per second. We've got 300 left in this stage to realign our orbit here. And we still have a little bit left over in this stage for some maneuvering to try and get our intersect here, our rendezvous. In fact, we can even mess with that a little bit using this maneuver that we're going to try to do up here. Now, it's not ideal to try to do this kind of stuff at a low orbit. It's actually way more fuel efficient to do it farther away from the gravity well, but we don't have a whole lot of choice here. So if we look at our orbit, you can kind of see, well, I guess you kind of can't. It's hard to see from that angle. You can kind of see where the blue line is just a little bit inside here. Well, we can kind of push that out a little bit. Boom, 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 right? And that pushes that blue line out to line up with the yellow line that is Inuki's orbit, right? And then what can we do? Well, we can kind of adjust our timing by positioning ourselves radially or anti-radially. Whoa, that really... I thought I saw something there. No, maybe not. And the idea being to get our orbits, our separation, as close as we possibly can here at 179, 180 kilometers of separation right there. And that's about as close as I can get on this orbital burn, which gets us 43.8 meters per second of delta V, or costs us 43.8 seconds, 43.8 meters per second of delta V. But that's okay. All right, so we've got our maneuver node. If we hit F5, do a quick save, we can... No? Oh, right here. So we can warp to just before that maneuver. So now we're less than a minute from the maneuver. It's only a second of burn time. We're already pointing pretty much the right direction here. Probably ought to check our resources. Electric charge is full. It means we're probably getting plenty of sun on our solar panels. Yes, we are. At least one of them, which is good. All right, so we're less than half a minute away from our burn here. Which will align our orbital planes and shift our orbit just a little bit to inside theirs, or not necessarily inside theirs, but kind of shift our orbital timing. All right, and done. Right, so we now should have a 0-degree inclination relative to our target. So it means we're on the same orbital plane. We are 180 kilometers away, which is kind of what we wanted out of that burn. So go ahead and get that out of there. Now, here is where things get a little trickier. So remember we were doing those radial and anti-radial adjustments there, right? So if we burn radial, it shifts our orbit one direction. If we shift anti-radial, or burn anti-radial, it shifts our orbit the other direction. The idea being, yeah, see how it just shifted my entire orbit to where I didn't even have a periapse anymore. It was inside the planet. We don't want that. That would be bad. So we'll not do that. Go that away. Get you back to where you pretty much belong. All right, and you see we've got actually two sets of markers here. So we've got our regular target intersection here that you saw before. It's got us 180 kilometers away. And you see a second intersect set of markers here, the purple ones that are intersect 2. And that's got us a little bit closer, 178.3 kilometers. That's only a little bit versus the 180.3, so we only gained 2 kilometers of separation. But it adjusts kind of when we meet up with them, and when we are, so it kind of shifts our orbits, and we totally missed that burn, to where they cross instead of overlap. So let's try that same kind of thing on the other side of the planet here. And we want to do it at their apo, or do we want to do it at our apo? I think we probably want to do it at theirs. So we get closer? No. 196 kilometers. What the what? $184 kilometers. This is going to be a really slow process, it seems. I wonder if there's a better way to do it. Because I don't want to be stuck up here forever. I mean, we want to get this guy and go home. So we launched a little bit too early. There's got to be a way to mitigate that. And the most obvious would be just burn retro to the target, right? I mean, we could let them catch up. Maybe we try that. We're not going to burn hard or heavy. We're just going to slow down a little bit, let them catch up to us, right? Yeah, but hold the phone. Are they moving faster, or are we moving faster? 2280, 2272. So they're moving faster than we are. If we're burning retro to them, we should be allowing them to speed up and close the distance. Which they are closing the distance. It's not rapid. Where did that put our parry? 74. So we're actually a fair bit lower than they are on the other side of the planet over here. Oh, no, this side of the planet over here. And what's their app? 89.7. We're at 90. We burn retro to orbit. That gets our apo inside their apo, and our parry is inside their parry. So they're closing at a very rapid rate now. It's still not super fast, but if we quick save, And we just let them get closer. Just kind of time warp and let the gap close. Uh-oh. It's not closing. It's getting bigger. Much bigger. Okay. So it's shrinking now. But it's getting bigger. What the heck? How are... Okay. Let's try a different approach here. If we burn retro or prograde at Perry. Prograde at Perry. Thank you very much. That doesn't make any sense though. I'm burning prograde, I'm speeding up, and I am already moving faster than they are. Don't want to do that. I want to burn relative to target. So if I burn away from there, burn... What the what? What's going on here? So, if I burn... Is that their prograde or is that their retrograde? That's my retrograde relative to them. I think that's their prograde. But I should be burning towards the west. And they should be... The distance between us should be closing, but it's not. It's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. I don't understand. Alright, so let me get over here. I'm going to add, I'm going to burn prograde here to match up our orbits again. Which is increasing our distance. 352 kilometers. Good Lord. But I don't want to do that there. I want to do that there. There, we want to increase our speed to get our Perry organized with theirs. That's not going to be our Perry until we get back around to that side. Actually, we're going to need to do it here, don't we? Here, we're going to add... We get our APO lined up with their APO, or as close as we can. Actually, it gives us an intersect on the second pass. Separation 3.7 kilometers. That I can live with. In fact, we might even be able to get that a little bit closer. Nope, that's getting further away. We had 3.7 before. 3.5, 3.4, 3.2, 2.3. $200 meters. Live with that. Okay, 300 meters. Meters. About as good as we're going to get there. We're doing 66 meters per second, and we still have 260 meters per second to get there. So, in a little over 3 minutes, we got a 2-second burn that, if executed properly, could net us to within 100 meters of our target. And again, this is tricky to do without RCS, because it's going to take some orbital adjustments, so to speak, to get this rendezvous and get everything to line up properly. Because once we get close to each other, then I have to adjust my speed to match theirs. And we're 100 meters away, and there's a relative speed difference of 88 meters per second. So less than 2 seconds of reaction time, really, by the time we get to that intersect, to adjust our speed and match theirs before they're past us. And that's okay. As long as they don't get too far past us, we can, say we're already in the process of adjusting our speed, then it's not that big of a deal, because we're already working towards that goal. But hopefully we can do this right and get a capture the first time without a whole bunch of different passes to fix screw-ups. So we're going to do a quick save. We're going to fast forward a few seconds. We're going to fast forward some more. Get us closer to that mark. Being very careful not to miss it. Six, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Burn. And shut off. We'll get back on the target marker, and we'll make tiny bit adjustments here. We want to kind of be dead on with this, right? 0.2 meters per second. Nope, too fast, too far. We're going to have a slight variation on our 100 meters. That's okay. Now we can kill this puppy, get rid of it. And so once we pass this marker or this marker, these ones will kick in. So what we want to do here, we want to add a maneuver to slow our orbits down. We want to match speeds with the other craft, right? That's the goal. Oop, don't want to do that. When we're matching speeds, it means we're matching orbits. We want our orbit to match theirs exactly. Which means making some other adjustments here. Alright, so I've got a close intersect here, saying 8.1 kilometers now instead of 100 meters. That's okay. And we got another one over here at 8.8 kilometers. Again, not horrible. But that means that we have to execute this burn pretty flawlessly to get that kind of separation and still have that extra bit of maneuvering fuel in our final powered stage. So we're gonna do a quick save. We're gonna I think I'm gonna take a quick break actually while I'm waiting here. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that quick save, and I will be right back with you guys in just a few minutes. Alright, I am back. We're going to go ahead and time warp to this maneuver. Just get ourselves realigned just a little bit here. Seem to have shifted a touch. And here we go. So we're already getting really close to them. We're at a distance of less than 5 kilometers now. We're still pointing at our maneuver node here. Speed up time a little bit. We've only got 3 seconds of burn. 3, 2, 1. And should be really close to him now. Only 4.7 meters per second of relative speed. Okay, so we're now 1.2 kilometers away from each other. We are should actually be close enough to see them. Yeah. Just see them. Tiny little pod over there. And now, if we turn this way. No. This way. That should zero out our speed pretty well. No? Why? What if we burn here? Nope, definitely not. We're going to burn prograde to the target. Let's get that stupid maneuver node off of there. That should match our speeds. Alright. 1 meter per second relative distance, or relative speed. Now, we burn towards the target. And I want to flip around here and point away from the target so that as we get closer to them, wait, they're getting further away though. Maybe we burn back at the target. Burning towards their prograde. Speed up time, get us closer, closer. Alright, now we want to burn directly towards them. Okay. Turn back around. right here. Alright, we are burning directly at them. 10 meters per second, closing distance. Hopefully. And so we gotta push the retrograde to stay kinda, we want that pink dot there, which is their retrograde, to be lined up with the center X of our retrograde as we get closer, so we can use that to bleed off our relative speed. We're still above the atmosphere, which is good. As we get closer and closer here, I'm going to try to push our prograde marker back to where it is. Boop, 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 boop. 4 meters per second. Uh-oh. Alright, let's see if we tab? No. No. Backspace? No. Arr! Nuki's derelict. No. Dang it. Alright, let's pause. Go to the tracking station. And we'll just grab a Nuki from here. Fly. We've got our rendezvous, so you just jump out and let's go. Where'd you go? Come here. No. Whoa, totally missed. This is a weird orientation, I'll tell you what. close, getting close. Oh, bump. Give me the grab. Alright, we've got it. And now we can just turn relative to the surface here and burn retrograde, and we've got our rescue, we've got our rendezvous. And I think we might have actually had enough fuel there to hit that 3 kilometers of or 3,000 kilometers or 3 million meters of altitude to get the other guy, but that's okay. We're going to bleed off as much energy here as we possibly can. Get this guy home. Button. Yeah, you can get a view from the Kerbal's perspective here. You could technically completely fly from this view. You got your surface speed, you got your atmosphere, you've got your altitude, you've got more altitude? Yeah, more altitude. Vertical speed indicator, etc., etc., etc. All of that is here. That's what I'm looking for. We burned about 2/3 of our fuel here. It's all good. I'm gonna burn off as much of it as we possibly can, honestly. We're already below atmospheric heating. We're almost at a safe speed for our parachutes to arm and deploy right now. We're almost falling straight down now. We're 55 kilometers up, but we're almost falling straight down now. Obviously, we don't have enough delta V to slow us down. We've got 86 meters per second in delta V, and by the time we actually hit heavy atmosphere, we're going to be back up to 400 meters per second. But we've got our parachute, we've got our Kerbal. And Nuki will join our Kerbal crew and be an available astronaut for us, which will be nice. Not sure what a Nuki specialist or specialty is. Whoops. Oh, wait a minute. No. Nope. What? No, no, no. I want to control. Oh. There we go. Yeah, this is 700 meters per second. Okay, say hopefully the chutes pop. That'd be embarrassing. Ooh, that didn't sound good. Alright, we're almost there. Chutes are open. It'll slow us down rapidly. And we will be safely landed on the surface. Let's figure out where we're at here. Report from the grasslands. Sure. Every little bit helps, right? Why don't you go ahead and get out and take an EVA? And take an EVA report. And take a surface sample. We plant a flag? No, apparently not. All good. Get back on board. And recover. And we'll have collected a little bit more stuff. A little bit of science, a little bit of... Not even a little bit of money. It's a fair bit of money that we should have got here. Yeah, we got 12 science out of that. Still not enough to get a wet. Actually, I think 45 is what we need. Cool. Okay. Get a little bit of money back. Inuki Kermit, ready for advance to level 1. Wow, you didn't even do anything. Must be nice. Okay, so with that said, let's check our messages here. Contract parameter complete. Synchronized free falling isn't nearly as daunting as it sounds. A little bit of science for that. 32,000, a little bit of money. Of course, we got our contract completion reward of another 20,800. A little bit more science for completing the rendezvous. There's our rendezvous again. So 24,000, another 4,800 for the crew transfer. A couple more science. Save Inuki, contract complete. Just under $6,000 for that. Now part of the space program because we rescued Inuki from orbit. Another $60,000 for that. That puts us at a grand total of 766,000 Kerbal bucks. What other kind of missions do we have? I know we still have the one rescue to do up there, right? I got that. So yeah. Here we go. Explore the moon. Grand scheme of things, we know very little about the moon. See if we can explore it a bit further. Orbit the moon, orbital spacewalk of the moon, and return to Kerbin from orbit of the moon. So we don't even have to land. All we got to do is get there. And that will get us 200,000, a little over 200,000 just for completing it. We'll get 137 more on top of that, and we get this 73, almost 74 right up front, right? We've got a couple satellite positionings, tourists, blah, conducting observational surveys, blah. We've just done one rescue. We've got 2 more to do, blah, on the ferries. More atmospheric surveys, blah. And then bring a moonstone back with you. Well, you have to land on the moon to collect a moonstone, right? We'll do that eventually anyways, and that is, you know, we're going to go ahead and accept the orbit the moon mission, so we're going to do that. And bring a moonstone back with you. We're going to do that too, simply because we're going to be going there soon. And we know that we're going to be landing on the moon soon, so we can take and plan to collect that rock since we're going there anyways. All right, so now we got a couple satellite missions here. So we've got ComSat 1, place it in an adjusted orbit of Kerbin. So what does that mean? I want to say we didn't have to move it too much, and we get another 45,000 out of that. So I'm going to go ahead and accept that one. Hopefully we shall have enough fuel left in that satellite to be able to make an adjustment to its orbit. Hello, Baller. Happy birthday. Welcome along. So that just jumped us up another 120,000. Just by accepting those missions. And we got another one, position satellite in a specific orbit, so inclination of 25 degrees, 19 by 26,000 kilometers on each. Let's see, antenna, generate power, designated orbit, meet marginal deviation, mystery goo unit, and stability for 10 seconds, and that'll net us another 140,000 between it. So we're going to go ahead and take that one too. So that gives us 2 satellite missions, 1 more rescue mission, and the moon, right? 2 satellites, 1 rescue, and the moon. Zelgul, whatever you want to call. We got to figure out how to get her all the way back down here. So we could try that rocket again. I mean, we just used it, and I said that it might be powerful enough to get us to Zelgul's altitude and orbit. There might be enough there to do that. That rocket back, please. It's missing part liquid engine tube 2. What? What are you talking about? Contains locked or invalid parts. What are you talking about? I literally just launched that rocket. That is the one I launched, right? It should show me a preview over here. Load it. Yeah. What's missing where? I got those. That bam. That bam. That bam. That bam. And those. Huh? It's all good. We don't have a crew on board. We do. Jeb, get out of there. Let's see. We've got our module in here, yeah? Yeah, got our module. Alright. Get you out on the launch pad. Did you have a good birthday, Baller? You still there? You with us? Yeah, you left. All good. Alright. And now, I'm going to find out Are you Ziggle? No. Are you Zoggle? No. Are you Zoggle? Yes. Zoggle is up here and moving at 800 meters per second. So not moving real fast, actually. You're approaching your apo, so you're gonna be moving pretty good by the time you get here. But we gotta speed up time. Gonna get you a little bit closer to where we are. Well, that's not gonna work, is it? That's the Space Center. Speed up time until Zoggle is pretty much right above the Space Center, which is kind of where we're at now, right? Actually, you're a little bit in front of me again. Dang it. All right, we're gonna go ahead and launch. We're gonna aim for probably about 5 kilometers before we start our gravity turn. Because we're going for a higher altitude here, and I think a more direct approach is going to be better in the long run. 3 kilometers up, 4 kilometers up, and there's our 5. We start tipping eastward here. We're about to burn out our SRBs. Move on to the thugs. Really kind of push ourselves over here. A lot of wobble in that rocket, isn't there? We gotta push our output all the way up here. Hopefully that swivel engine's got enough power, enough juice to get it up there. And still have some room to go orbital. In fact, we can start pushing our orbital part out now. And maybe by the time we get up there, we'll already be orbital. We should probably keep pushing more prograde. We want to get that APO up to the right altitude as quickly as we can. enough to circularize, but we might just... Oh. Can't stage for map view. So this could be problematic here. I was hoping to have not gotten to this stage before we got at least to the altitude we need to get to. Alright, so that's got us pretty close. It's not all the way there. Oh, our inclination's way off. You're on a tilted orbit, aren't you? Dang it. Okay. All good, all good. We'll get up here. Here, we're going to try to circularize. Bam. Okay, we're circularized, more or less. Now we got to move that orbit sideways, not that way. That way. Maybe not that much. I'm gonna get it more or less lined up like that. Set you as the target, so we get our descending and ascending nodes, which are actually pretty much right where we're at. So that's our ascending node. We also want to burn downward here. Line up the old orbits this way. Whoops. Alright, so point 4 is as close as I can get from that point. All good, all good. Now, move you back over this way. Slow you down a touch. Move you back over this way. Alright, so it's a decent burn, 45 seconds. That gets us on the same orbital plane and the same orbital trajectory that they're on, more or less. You know, we still have a 0.4 degree ascending node. I could probably speed up just a touch here to get those... everything to line up there. That'll pretty much do it right there. And we're still miles away, 3,000 kilometers of separation at either end, looks like. It's okay. It's not ideal. It means we launched a little too early, but that's okay. We just got there before they did. We can live with that. I think that white line is the current orbit, green line is the adjusted orbit of ComSat 1, which is that one, right? Yeah. So not a big adjustment. Looks mostly to be inclination adjustment. And the other one is that. And that orbital path is eastward as well. So I'm gonna go ahead. We're lined up with our maneuver node. I'm gonna do a quick save and time warp to get us closer to it. So the blue line is our current orbit, our current trajectory. We're not even technically orbital yet. We still gotta. If we followed along this path, we would pass through the planet 103 kilometers below the surface. Obviously, that is not ideal, but we're gonna get pretty much aligned with our target's orbital path all in one burn. Slight variation in our orbital plane, our inclination, but that'll be easily adjusted once we get to the next node. But once we're in line with the we need to get burning 22 and a half seconds. 3, go. But once we get on that, that close alignment there, then we can adjust our orbital path faster, slower, probably slower to get them to catch up to us. Try to stay on that maneuver node as much as we can. Closer, closer, closer. Nope. Boofed it. Alright, it's all good, all good. We burned kind of opposite that. Should bring us back to where we were here. Or where we want to be. Not great for fuel usage, but it's also not the end of the world. Okay, so there's that. Now, we get over here to our ascending node. We're going to add one more anti-normal maneuver. Let's mark that. In fact, we'll go down with this one. Slower or smaller increments, right? All right, so now we have aligned the orbit. Okay, so that's a very, very small burn. It's an hour away, so we're gonna have to quick save and time warp to get there, but it is a very, very, very small burn. Getting close, getting close. And pretty much wait till we hit 0 on this one, because it is such a short burn. See, I already overdid it by a lot. But it's okay, we should... Nope, we're not. Dang it. We'll just come back over here, burn back to normal. slowly. And there's our 0-degree ascending. Oop, that whipped around awfully fast for the little bit of fuel or thrust that we were applying, but that's okay. Alright. So now we should be relative to our target. Are they moving faster or are we moving faster? They are moving at 3,240 kilometers per second. We are moving at 3,765 kilometers per second. So we need to slow down. The only way to do that is to burn retrograde to our orbit. We don't want to do that too much because A, we're going to need some fuel to get home. And B, we don't want to change our relative velocity too terribly much. But when we get up here to the Apo, it's actually probably a better place to do it. Here we're going to add vertices. Oh, excuse me. We're going to add a maneuver to slow us down a little bit there. Bring our parry inside of theirs, right? So we're moving technically at a slower rate of speed at that point, or should be moving at a slower rate of speed at that point. Than the other craft. So, quick save, time warp. Now that means that craft's good. 4,166. We are moving at. Quit it. 4,265. 795 meters per second. We're moving at 764 meters per second. So if we stick to this, we can just literally speed up time here and let them catch up to us. Oop. That's me. That's them. Better quick save. And then speed up time here. Let them catch up to us. And once they've caught up to us, why did that look like our gaps were getting further apart? They are. They're going faster than we are. How are we staying and growing the gap in front of them? I don't understand. We're catching up to them now. I don't know how much time's passed. 8 days. Alright, about here. Add enough to bring our Apo back up to their height. Save, time warp. Separation 24 kilometers, relative speed of 17 meters per second. I can live with that. Can we get that even better? Dang it. Alright, give me a sec. Alright, sorry about that. Got that a whole lot closer. What? Just baby steps. Baby step that puppy down. So 1.6. Nope, wrong way. Six. 5. 4.7. I hit, yeah. 0.6. 0.4. 3. 0.5. So we're getting a little further away. 0.3, 0.2, 0.1, and we're there. So if we can burn this flawlessly, this 21.3 meters per second here in just under 4 hours, we should literally be rubbing elbows with Zelgel here. Right on time. It's almost 11 o'clock. So this will probably be our last mission for the day. We'll come back next week and work on getting an orbit around the moon. We might go ahead, and we've got a little bit of time, we might go ahead and actually adjust this satellite's orbit. We're not going to build a new rocket with a new satellite and send it up on this trajectory, but it shouldn't take us long to adjust this satellite's orbit. In fact, we got 3 hours we're waiting. We can actually go back to the Space Center, hit the tracking station down here, grab hold of that satellite, fly said satellite. Satellite's got plenty of fuel. 2,264 meters per second of fuel. So we want to adjust that orbit to that orbit. Okay? It shouldn't be too terribly difficult to do. First thing we want to do is align our orbital planes. So that's going to be right there. That's the direction we're traveling? No, we're traveling this direction. So right there. Where those cross, we're going to what's your malfunction? Why you not show me? Okay, about there-ish, right? How far away is that? 9 hours. Of course it is. I'm at my Apo now. Let's just turn you to prograde. I'm going to push our parry up. To about there. Okay. And then what? Go ahead and set our right, that covers that. So we can go ahead and point at that. But we got 10 hours to that node, so we're going to jump over to the other craft. So we only got 3 hours to that one, or 3.5, 4 hours to that one. I guess I could just go to the tracking station straight from space, but... And we want... Oh, crab nuggets. Which one is it? That one? Okay. Alright, we are pointing at our maneuver node. But we're still a little ways away from it. Do a quick save. Should be able to set you, you already are set as target, so not necessary there. Again, another short burn here, not as short as the last one, but it is a relatively short burn nonetheless. A whole whopping 1 second. So we'll pretty much, again, kind of wait till we get down to the 0 mark for this. We're going to fire and try to shut off at exactly 0.0 meters per second. Still a little bit of margin for error there, but not much. 0.3. It's not the end of it, not the end of the world. It's passable. Alright, 0.1. Can't really get any better than that. Right? So we have now basically matched orbits. My Apo's a little higher than theirs. We're going to bypass them there, but we should have a pretty darn close intersect up here. 5 kilometers. Not horrible. Can we... Nah, it's probably not worth it. Now, how long does it take to get there? 4 hours. Well, we just spent 4 hours, but I think we should be okay to warp to here. Do a quick save. I'll try that again. Alright, and we're now 13 minutes away. Let's go look back at our other ship. Where are we at up here? We want ComSat 1. What's our ETA to our burn here? Oh, 2.5 hours. So I think this one's closer. No, the other one's closer. We're 15 minutes away. Where are we relative to everything here? Yeah, we have to do the alignment burn. So we still got a little bit of time on that one. So we're gonna go back. And we're gonna fly. And we're gonna get rid of that. Terminate that. Get it off my screen. I don't like it. I don't remember which one is which up here. So, untitled spacecraft around Inugis. I think that's the right one. Looks like the right one. Alright, we're less than 10 kilometers away. Very nice. Alright, so uh-oh. No. You have your solar panels, why aren't you charging? Oh, no. Not in here. No smoke inside. We don't smoke inside. Come on.
Just tell me what you pitch.
Yeah, give me a sec. Well, this is not ideal, guys. We're dead in the water. 8 kilometers away from this guy. We're freaking dead in the water. Wonder if he can travel 8 kilometers. This could be a problem. Can we switch over? Nope. That's not working. Maybe switch to closer? Five kilometers, about as close as we're gonna get. Nope. Oh man. Alright, so go to the tracking station, switch over to Zelgel's craft. Zelgel. We might be able to salvage this. Might be able to. What? 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 Uh-oh. Wait a minute, what happened to the other one? Oh, there it is. Why are you fading away? Don't do that. That's scary. Why can't I fly you? Cannot switch to a vessel we don't own. Would it? I just need to get the person out of it, man. Alright, well. No, I need to go back in there. I need ComSat. We'll get that one fixed at least. Dang it. Fly that. And once we get this orbit fixed here, we'll have to call it a day there, I think. Man. Alright, well. Let's get you pointing back at your maneuver node. Quick save. Warp to the point. Speed up time to cover the last minute. Okay, that should get us pretty well aligned. And we're traveling this way, so want to bring that down. Nope. There. quick save, time warp, 15 freaking hours. Around, burn wind. That's not so bad. That's not so bad. 0.6 meters per second. That's not going to be the end of the world. Alright, and then here, actually here, here we're going to slow down even more. Get that orbit lined up that away, and then we're going to shift it that away. And that should get us where we need to be. So one more adjustment here, one more little quick save, one more little time warp, and we should have this one in the bag. Quick save, time warp, 1 second burn, not a big deal, not a big deal. A little bit more time warp to burn off that last minute. Oh, crap. Alright, well. And we're golden. Maintain stability for 10 seconds, and we've got it. In fact, we'll just go ahead and head back to the tracking station now, or the Space Center, and I'm going to go ahead and sign off for the night, guys. Got some more Imperium tomorrow with the Hammer Crew, and we'll see what comes up this weekend. Maybe something, maybe nothing. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and wrap up for the night. We got a little bit done. We made one rescue, failed at a second one, repositioned a satellite, made our rendezvous mission. So we've got a fair bit done today. Made some pretty decent progress. Got a little bit of money. Got a ComSat adjustment there, and so we're up to almost $1 million Kerbal bucks. With that said, I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. Baller, happy birthday to you, man. Glad you could join me today, and hopefully we'll see you guys tomorrow. As a quick reminder, if you haven't already, like and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you like as many videos as you possibly can. Comment on the ones that you would like. Leave me advice. Leave me feedback. Leave me jokes. I don't really care. The comments and the likes and the, of course, subscriptions are kind of what drive the YouTube algorithm and put me on people's pages so that I show up and maybe can grow my community a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more. But again, hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you so very much for joining me. And hopefully I will catch you on the next stream. Thank you again, and bye-bye.